Okay, so to start this practice, remember, have that strap and ball close at hand, that little bouncy ball. You might want to have your pillow or blocks nearby. And let's come down to a lying position. So get yourself onto that mat, finding comfort. If you need a pillow under your head, go ahead and put that pillow under your head. If you need to keep the knees bent, please do. Sort of take a couple wiggles of your body and just see where you can find yourself some comfort on the mat as you land here on the ground. And then as you sink your body into the mat, go ahead and close those eyes or soften the gaze, releasing the shoulders, the pelvis, the heels to the ground. And then as those eyes have closed, maybe you can feel those eyeballs sort of sink down into the skull. So just trying to release all areas of the body, just trying to see where can you let go and find some space. And take this opportunity to sort of focus your attention on the sensation of touch. So that could be maybe your fingertips that you can feel on the ground. Maybe it is the air that's sort of breezing by your skin. And then maybe take a couple breaths here and feel the sensation of a breath coming in and out of your nose. Just tapping into that sensation of touch. The beauty of our senses is that they bring us into the present moment. They make us aware of what's going on right now. And considering our body is one of our largest organs is our skin, there's a lot to be felt. That sense of touch. Just let that breath flow in and out of your body. No need to change it or adjust it. And then taking maybe the largest breath you've taken all day, a real big deep inhalation and a releasing exhalation. And bringing some small movements into our body now, taking those wrists and maybe starting to rotate them. One way, then the other, then the ankles, add a little bit of ankle rotation, making sure again that you're doing both directions. You're welcome to keep your eyes closed if it feels good for you as we do a couple movements here down on our back on the floor. And if your knees aren't bent, go ahead and bend those knees and plant those feet. Bring the feet close together, thighs touching. You may need to sort of lift your pelvis for a second to just readjust where that pelvis is on the mat. But bring those legs right close together, tight together, but not in a way of stress or tension, just having them touch as close as possible. And then taking those knees over to the right and try to keep the foot soles on the ground. So it's not a huge movement. And then coming over to the left. And you decide what feels best for you. Does it feel good to go slow? Does it feel good to go a little faster? What's going to serve you this morning to get that body moving? And as you keep going, go ahead now and let those foot soles start to lift a little bit. So as you tip, maybe the pinky toe comes up on the one side. Maybe you come onto the edges of the feet, just making that movement a little bit bigger. And then come to pause, knees facing up towards the center or to the ceiling. Tuck those knees in now towards the chest, grabbing behind the backs of the thighs or tops of the shins. Go ahead and just give that low back a little stretch out. And thinking about keeping that tailbone pointing down to the bottom of the short end of your mat. See if you can make that happen a little bit. A little wiggle here, a little wiggle there is good. And then if you feel like you're ready for a little bit more dynamic movement, we're going to do a little bit of a spinal rock. So coming, rolling forward and back. If that's not good for you right now, go ahead and just come to the side and press yourself up. But if you're ready to have a little bit of fun this morning, not that rolling over to the side is not fun, but try a little bit of rock and roll here, kicking those legs overhead if you can. And once you feel like you've had enough, you can come all the way up to a seated position. So we'll start in a cross-legged position. So find that position that feels like you love, like you gravitate towards it. You might need to sit up on something. I just grabbed my block, but you can grab a towel or a pillow to sit up on. So find that cross-legged position that feels au naturel, and then switch it. Switch it so that it's the weird one. Because we so commonly go into the one. I always cross my left in front of my right. So now my right is in front of my left. So find that awkward, a little odd feeling cross-legged. Fantastic. Good. So from here, try to find your ball. Hopefully you can find it. It's close at hand. Your little bouncy ball. And we'll take it into the palm of our hand. So press that ball in between those two palms. Fingertips come together, so like in a little prayer position. And then bring your hands down so that the pointer finger, your tallest, not your pointer, your middle finger, sorry, is the tallest. Have it sit right underneath your chin. So think about practice by actively pressing those hands in. If the ball has rolled away and you can't find it, don't worry about the ball being there, but get those hands right underneath that chin. So we're going to go into a bit of a twist, but I want you to see if you can keep that head really tucked to those fingers. So we'll rotate all the way to the right, and it's not a huge twist. It's a little bit smaller than maybe you would expect, but that's okay. We're just moving in some initial twists, coming back to center, and then we'll come all the way over to the left. So at your own pace here, I want you to play with this and just see how that's feeling in your spine this morning. Twists come from the belly, but we're not really getting the low belly into this twist. It's more upper torso, a little bit more of what are called our thoracic spine. Not as big as our really deep spinal twist. So those hands are still actively pressing that ball together, and we're keeping that chin right over the chest. Good. Finish that. Make sure that you've done equal amounts on both sides. And then go ahead and release those hands and release that ball down. Or if you have a furry friend, you might need to tuck it into your bra strap is where I would put it if I had a furry friend around me. All right, now grab your strap or towel or tie, whatever you got. And just let the two ends sort of dangle. We're going to find a position where we've got some tension here. So hands shoulder height and shoulder width apart. And I want you just to play with that twist again. As you try to pull those arms apart, we're going to rotate over to the right and then come back to center, rotate over to the left. So you might actually feel like you'll go a little bit further, but the action in the upper body is actually the opposite. Instead of us pushing together, we're trying to pull apart with that strap. So just an interesting dynamic between the two different props and what that feels like with those active arms. Awesome. Do one more on each side. Make sure you get it both ways. And then come back to the center. Now you'll be happy. Switch that cross to that comfortable cross. Feels much better maybe in your body. We'll still have our strap, still have it here at shoulder height. And then let's bring it up above our heads. Take it a little bit wider though, so that your arms are further than shoulder width apart. Awesome. Still try to apply that pressure. So think about actively trying to pull that strap apart as we tip all the way over to the right. Good. Using those arms in our side bend, lifting all the way up and coming over to the other side. So just see what that strap is doing for you. Potentially it's allowing a bit more of a stretch through those armpits, through the side body, and just feeling that sensation of opening on that lateral side of the body. Good. Now that head likes to do whatever it wants to do because we don't have a fingertip on it. So just make sure it stays in between those two arms. Ground down through the pelvis as best you can so that that hip doesn't come off the ground, that opposite hip. As you move right, that left hip wants to pop up and vice versa. Good, everyone. We'll go one more time on each side. Feeling a little bit more heat in the body. Good. And then coming to stillness in the center. Try to keep those arms up still. And then see if you can lift your shoulders up and then press them down. Pull them up. Press them down. Good work, everybody. Still active through those arms as best you can, feeling like you're trying to rip that strap apart. Up and down through those shoulders. And on the last time through, think about dropping those shoulders down, down, down. So in this position, I'd like you to take your elbows and bend them down as I bring that strap back just behind my head. You might have to adjust a little bit so you don't hit yourself with your strap. Down and then back up. So just trying to get those shoulder blades to glide down our backs. Good. Elbows don't have to come too far down. It's about to shoulder height. Squeeze those shoulder blades down and together. Really strong through that back, strengthening the muscles through the back one more time. Good work. All the way up. Good. And then lower those arms down. Release those hands. Go ahead and shake out those wrists a little bit. It's a little bit of tension in those wrists as we're trying to actively pull that strap apart. Fantastic. Plant those hands just on top of the thighs. We'll bring those shoulders forward and just roll them up and back a couple times. Again, those shoulders took a little bit of work there. Releasing any sort of tension. Fantastic. So let's dive forward onto hands and knees and have your ball handy so that it's close by. You might want to, if it's not attached to you or in your pocket, you might want to just bring it down underneath you here, kind of right under your belly button here on your mat. So spread those fingertips wide, press into all 10 fingertips. Think about the tops of the feet, press down into them and activate those legs as well. As we think of a nice long extended spine from the tip of the tail to the crown of the head, nice and long. Trying to think about those arches. We still have some natural arches in our spine. So through the top of the neck, the cervical spine, as well through the lumbar spine, the low back. So try not to lose that, trying to think about a bit of a natural curve occurring. From here, think about that belly button and tuck that pelvis under, tipping that tailbone down towards the mat. Spread those shoulder blades apart as you tuck your chin, nose, and forehead down, coming into that angry cat. Releasing that belly, allowing it to come forward as your heart comes between your two arms, lifting forehead, nose, and chin up. So go ahead and take yourself through another 5 cat-cows. You go ahead through your own pace. You might want to go a little faster. You might want to go a little bit slower. Really feel out in your body and be curious to what you need today for your spine. Just trying to warm up that spine a little bit. Taking us through some flexion and extension. Again, these cat-cows come from the belly if you can. The best strategy is to sort of see you pull in that belly first and then allow the shoulders, head to come forward, as opposed to let the head do the work, because the head probably would take over if we let it. And once you've done your 5, finish off with a high cat and just hold that high cat for a moment, trying to release the head down, really spread those shoulder blades apart. Strong through your foundation by pressing down through the tops of your feet and the palms of your hands, and then coming to a flat back. Beautiful. Now take that little bouncy ball and place it underneath your right knee. So try to keep that tabletop integrity. You simply want to sort of get that ball underneath that knee. So toes can stay on the ground on the right-hand side, or they can come up. What we're going to try to do is make little tiny circles with that ball. So the movement is going to be driven from that hip socket, and that kneecap is just gently pressing onto that ball. If you feel like that ball is getting lots of load, readjust. Make sure that you're also supporting yourself on your 2 hands and your other knee. Strong through the middle, engage a little bit through that belly. And then if you haven't switched directions, go ahead and switch directions. Excellent job. Release that knee, release that ball. Go ahead and pop that ball just up at the top of your mat. Take your toes and kiss them together, and then just press yourself back just to release a little bit. That's a little bit of heavy work on those shoulders, which we've already done a bit of work in. So as we're in that tabletop and focusing on those hip circles, those shoulders take a lot of work. Good, and then come all the way up back to tabletop. We'll take that ball once more and place it under our left knee. So toes will come apart, back to that good strong tabletop. Try to stay as stable as you can in this tabletop without shifting your hips or shifting your weight over. Really keep that integrity there. And by doing so, you're engaging through that middle as you draw some circles with this side of your body. Thinking about that long femur bone as maybe a spoon, circling around into a big pot of, I'm going to say a big pot of melted chocolate. That's where I'm at this morning. Big pot of chocolate. Alrighty, switch the other direction. Actively press down through the other foot for that stability and strength. Trying to keep that neck nice and long. I know the tendency is to want to look at that ball. So try to keep that neck long and then release that ball. Kiss those toes together. This time, really take those knees far apart. Ball can come way up at the top of the mat and then sink yourself back into a wide-legged child's pose. Good time to connect back to your breath. Feeling any bit of releasing through those hips. Those shoulders might feel a little heavy. Not to worry, we're headed there next. So coming back up to that tabletop position, taking that little ball, I'm going to move my position so maybe you can see the movement a bit better when I'm facing you. So have that ball sort of right underneath your nose into that tabletop position. We'll take that ball now underneath our right fingertips. So release that right hand and bring that ball right under the right fingertips, almost onto the right middle finger. We're going to let that ball glide down the palm of our hand and ride down that forearm to the elbow as we twist. So almost like this sort of thread the needle idea, but it's a bit more of a concentrated effort because we have to keep that ball in place. The surface area of the ball is quite small, so you can't go through this movement super fast. If, for example, you had a foam roller, there's a lot of surface area to a foam roller, and you could absolutely use a foam roller to do this action. But with the ball, it's quite a bit more tiny, so you just have to play with it a little bit slower. And go ahead and take a pause once you've kind of come to that position of the arm all the way through and under, and feel a nice opening through that shoulder blade. Keep those hips up as best you can. We're still staying in the tabletop position with our lower body. Good. This might feel like a bit of a massage to that forearm as well. Beautiful. Now we'll come to the other side. So reposition those hands, ball underneath that nose, taking your left hand now, placing that ball right on top of or bottom of the middle left finger. There might be a slight bend into your right elbow as well as you glide the left hand forearm all the way underneath. Thread that needle. Good. And then come back up. Just taking a time to be a bit curious about how this feels on this side. Do you feel a bit more of a release through the forearm with this ball moving and tracking or not? Just depends on how much pressure you're applying. And then if you'd like to, take a chance to just hold that position as you glide through. Torso comes down towards the ground a little bit, but our shoulders are still off the ground. We're not coming into full thread the needle, letting our body collapse on our arm. We're coming into this active position. Pulling that shoulder blade apart, away from the spine, and then coming all the way up. Wonderful. Let's release that ball just again to the top of your mat. And your choice, whether you want to come into a wide child's pose or just your regular variety child's pose, sink yourself back. And if it's available to you, bring it down to forearms so that you can release your hands. So that your hands can be released, because there's a lot of we did a lot of work on that hands and knees position. So if you need to stretch your wrists out a little bit, go ahead and do that now. Might feel good to even lift up onto those elbows, forearms off the mat. Just give those wrists a bit of a stretch out. Good. And for you that need to hide your ball, go ahead and hide it. We don't need it just yet. You might want to put it in your pocket or into your bra strap just to keep it away from any furry friends. So we'll come to standing, and I just want you to be curious as we come to standing. As you come standing up, figure out what's going on in your body, whether you're breathing, if you're inhaling as you stand up, are you exhaling as you stand up, or are you holding your breath? So trying without using your hands, just come up to a standing position and just be curious what happens. Did you hold your breath? Are you bracing? Let's go back down again and see what happens. Okay, come back up. Maybe lead with the other leg, just for variety's sake. Are you holding your breath or bracing? Or are you inhaling, exhaling, coming back down? This time, I want you to think about completely exhaling as you stand up. So as you get up, exhale. See what happens in your body as you exhale. Let's go down one more time, but lead with the other leg. Again, try exhale completely as you stand up. Just something to be curious about. I was in a workshop yesterday with a yoga teacher who's also a voice coach, and he talked to us about how we hold our breath a lot when we try to get up off the floor, just so that we're simply trying to brace. But he told us that to actually exhale as you stand up, that's actually going to help you get up much easier. So anyways, something to play with, something for you to try out at home. So go ahead and find that ball again. I've just landed it down on my mat here. And then we'll take it underneath our right heel. So this is a warning. This is going to be a bit of strong work on your foot. I'm not looking for pain, nor should you. So judge accordingly how much pressure you're going to press your foot down onto that ball. So start with the heel and see if you can just sort of move it from side to side, a little bit front to back. You're going to feel that pressure of that ball under the foot. Good. Then slowly move the ball so that it's the point where your arch sort of meets your heel. So it's the tiniest little movement. Try to find that position, and it might start to intensify a bit. You've got a lot of connective tissue and fascia on the bottom of the foot, so no screaming here. Be gentle with yourself. Then allow that ball to come into the arch. See how that feels. Let it just roll a little bit through the arch, maybe more on the inside of the arch or the outside of the arch. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not the right foot that's working, it's also the left. The left is making you balance a bit here, so just be kind. Good. Just be curious. What are your hands doing? I can tell my hands are starting to brace here. So just relax, relax. And then bring that ball up to kind of what we would consider the forefoot or those balls of the feet there. Technically, our metatarsals, if you so care, those bones, there's 5 of them. You roll that ball through them. Hey, there's a little bit of tension potentially there. Good. And then allow that ball to come kind of right below your toes. Play with that a bit. Now, if any point that you want to work on 1 more second more, go ahead and find that spot, wherever that might be in your foot, a little freestyle here. See what's going to be the maybe a point of a little bit of tension. Good. And then let that bouncy ball release and put your foot back down. Just stand for a moment, finding your feet underneath you. And so what do you feel? Is there a different sensation on that right side versus the left? Does it feel like maybe tension release all the way up that leg potentially? Or is it simply that foot is like, what did you just do to me? How dare you? We'll come to the other side. So stepping onto the heel, the ball on the heel on your left foot. So find that spot. And I don't know if you're like me, but my feet are quite a bit different. So I know one side is going to not like it as much as the other. So play with that. Good. And then bring it towards the heel and where that arch meets. Excellent. Let that ball glide towards the arch. Maybe play with it in the middle or the sides. Applying as much pressure as you want. So this is your built-in massage, your Sunday morning foot massage you can give to yourself. And then all the way up to the pads at the top of the foot, the forefoot here, maybe gliding from side to side, adding a bit of pressure. Good. And then allow that ball to come right below the toes. Takes a bit of balance and strength through that right foot, right leg as well. And then time for freestyle. Where does it need it in your foot? Where do you need to play with it a bit more? Good. And then let that ball go, coming into Tadasana, our mountain pose, and feeling maybe a little bit of the benefit of working your feet. Is there a bit more awareness in those toes, maybe in your heels? Feel it out for a moment and just reconnect to your breath. Now picking up that ball, go ahead and grab a hold of it. Bringing it into the palms of our hands once more, closing those fingers up, bringing that hand and thumb connection to the breastbone. We'll load up our weight into our left foot, peel the right heel up, and see if you can let that leg come up so that the thigh is parallel to the floor. Good. Through that balance, try to balance out those hips. So if you feel like your hips lifting up, sink it down so that they're parallel to one another. Ground into that foot. And from here, let's do that twist again where we bring our middle finger right underneath that chin. Smaller twist here towards that right leg. Twist and balance. Twist and balance. Good. Grow out of that left foot. And slowly come back to center. Good, stay strong here. Think about, can I lift my leg a little bit higher? And now we're going into an open twist. So twisting towards the left. Keep the integrity of that pelvis facing forward. It's just your spine, your upper spine, twisting, twisting. Doesn't need to go far to be effective. Good, and then slowly bring that chin back. Straighten that right leg, flex that heel, and drop it all the way down. Awesome. Give those legs a bit of a shake out. Release those arms for a second. And I'm going to be curious if we did our balance before we did the football work, whether or not we'd be this stable. You all looked very stable, so kind of fun to play with to see if we've got a bit more awareness in our feet now since we rolled that ball. Alrighty, ground down through that right foot now. Peel the heel up on the left side. Lifting that left leg up. Try not to shift over. I can just feel that in my own body. Really stay strong through that pelvis as you bring that thigh up. Bringing those hands to prayer position. Place that ball between those fingertips, or between your palms so your fingertips come together. Middle finger underneath that chin. Standing tall. Take a breath here. Get nice and tall. We'll twist towards the left. Here we go. Slow and controlled. Use the belly to twist, but it's more the upper back and maybe a little bit more through the belly button as you hold it. Good. Slowly unwind. See if you can bring that leg a little bit higher. Balance. Balance comes and goes, so no worry. If you come out of it, just try again. Here we go. Opening up away from that leg now, twisting to our right. Strong through that foundation. Keep breathing. And then rotate back to the center. Kick that left leg out nice and strong. Flex that heel. And then slowly come all the way down. Wonderful job. Release those legs. Tuck that ball away for a moment. Put it down on the floor. And go ahead and grab your strap. Mine is a little extra long here today, so I'm going to fold it over just to make it a bit shorter. If you need to do that, go right ahead. You might not. Once you have that, we'll thread it back behind us, palms facing away. I'll give you my profile. Alrighty, so from here, I want you to think about coming tall and lifting up out of the pelvis. Ribs are going to stay still as I slowly try to lift my arms back behind me. So at any point in time you start to feel your ribs start to flare out, then you're trying to move into a back bend, and we're not there just yet. So we're just going to do a nice chest opener. Wiggling, wiggling. Squeeze those shoulder blades a bit more together. Squeeze. Lift. Maybe squeeze a bit more. Can you lift a bit more? Good. Feel a little bit of heat rising up out of those shoulders. Good. A little bit higher if you can. For 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. Release those arms down to the side. We'll bring our strap in front of us now, coming all the way up overhead and shifting over to the right. Lifting up tall, over to the left. All the way up tall. Thread that strap back behind you one more time. Coming back into that chest opener and into a back bend if you like. So if you want to take it a little bit further, you're welcome to let those arms glide down. Just remember that back bends come from our legs. So think about up out of the legs and sort of over back behind. Almost it feels like if you can imagine those a big beach ball behind you, you have to arch yourself over top of that beach ball. All right, ground down to those feet. Be strong through those legs, lift up through the pelvis, engage those abdominals, drop those arms back behind you, chin parallel to the floor, squeeze those shoulder blades together as you lift those arms away. So we've done this, we've been here. Now, if you'd like, you can press it a little bit more through those hips, lifting up and allowing that arch to come over, pulling back with those arms, lifting that chest to the sky, trying to keep that chin in a position where we don't bring any crinkles to the back of our neck. Open up that chest, pull those arms away from the body if you can, for 3, 2, 1. Slowly come back out of that back bend if you were there. Bend those knees, release those arms, and bring those forearms to the thigh. So just releasing that chest opener with a nice forward fold. If you'd like, you can come a little bit further, releasing those hands to the shins, maybe to the feet, or maybe to the floor. Go ahead and slide that strap just out of the way. We don't need it right now. And let the head just drop. So you decide what kind of forward fold feels good for you today. This is kind of our first one, so no need to straighten those legs too hard. You can keep that slight bend in the knees. And then taking our hands to our shins, we will slowly walk ourselves back up to the upright position. Go ahead and bring those arms all the way up, big reach to the sky. And as you exhale, we will fold forward, 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 all the way into another forward fold. Release that head down as best you can. And go ahead and just shake the head. No, maybe shake it yes. Just trying to release any tension in that neck. Hands can be on shins. They can be on tops of the feet. They may touch the ground, but they do not have to touch the ground. Slight bend through those knees. Take one more breath cycle here. And as you inhale, bring yourself all the way up. Arms can come out to the side. Hands can walk up the thighs. Whatever feels best for you. Good. And release. Awesome. So we'll come into a staggered stance. I'll give you my profile first. So we'll step forward with one foot here, the other one back. Both legs are going to be straight. So we're in this sort of staggered stance, almost like if you were cross-country skiing, which many of us could maybe do today. Our hips are going to be kind of one in front of the other here, or one leg's in front of the other. Good. With our feet. Just take a chance to look down maybe to see if your feet are parallel. Good. Let's get stable here. Hands come to hip to begin with. Good. So thinking about the chest lift nice and tall, deep breath in. And as you exhale, we'll hinge forward here in this sort of staggered stance. So it's another forward fold. However, we're in a different stance in our legs. So see how far we can get that torso to connect with the thighs. Press through those hips back. Front leg hip is going to try to come back while the back hip wants to come forward. Potentially feel that with your fingertips on your hips. Toes engaged, using those feet. And then as you're ready, use the strength of your leg to lift you up, nice, strong back, coming all the way up to standing. Go ahead and step forward with that foot, and we'll step back with the other. Feet parallel to each other now. Again, take that opportunity to look. Where are you in space? Good. Thinking about nice and tall through the spine. Nice breath in. And as you exhale, hinge forward from the hips, coming forward. Torso trying to come towards the thigh. Coming down as far as it's good for you. Front hip back, back hip forward. Long through the spine. Little bit of balance. If you feel unstable, take that front leg out a little bit to the side. And use the strength of the legs, slowly come all the way back up. Step that leg forward and go ahead and find your ball. Where did that ball go? Find that little bouncy ball and then come back to that staggered position. So changing what leg is forward, what leg is back. I got my left forward, right back, but you decide if it would be better to do the other way. And taking that hands to the heart, pressing that ball in. Square those hips now. Those hands aren't there anymore. So you have to actively use your pelvis to find that alignment. Fingertips under the chin. And we'll take that twist now towards that front leg. So a closed twist. Again, small twist in that thoracic spine. Watch what's happening potentially in your pelvis. Does it want to come with you? Really stay strong through your lower body. It's only the upper body that's twisting. Coming back to center. Press down through those feet and now to that open twist. Again, those hips want to move. Don't let them go. If they are moving, it's probably because we're trying to go way too far into our twist. So think about control here. Good. Coming back to the center. Take those hands down from the chin, drop that ball for a moment, and grab that strap. Staying in those, what is called pyramid legs, if you can, best you can. Lift those arms out and straight to shoulder height. Activate those arms by trying to pull that strap apart. Here we go. We're going into that closed twist again. Maybe that movement's a bit bigger, but are you pulling with the arms or the head or the neck or the chin? What's happening? Good. And come back to center. We'll go into our open twist. Open up. Open up. Watch that pelvis. Movements only in the spine. And then come back to center. Those are your two options for our third time through. You decide, do you like the ball being there? Do you like the twist that way? Or do you like with the strap? So you decide what you want to use, or maybe nothing at all. That's totally fine too. So find that one more twist through here. We're going to do either strap, what we just did, or ball between those palms. Staying in those pyramid legs. We'll twist into that closed twist, whether with it be the strap or with the hands in prayer position with that ball pressing together. Good. Coming back to center. Coming over to that open twist. Good work. Those legs are fired up. Twisting back to the center. Drop whatever tool you were using to the floor, but keep the legs still. From here, we're going to combine the forward fold with a twist. So this is revolved triangle. So hinge from those hips coming down, but as you come down, twist into that closed twist, taking your opposite arm to the opposite leg. Hand can stay on that pelvis, or it may want to come up towards the sky. So you decide. Forward fold in this pyramid pose and then twist yourself, just like we did with that thread the needle. Twist around opposite arm to opposite leg and see if you can twist in this position. Strong pose. Good work, everybody. One more cycle of breath. And then untwist yourself. Come all the way back up to that standing position. Step that leg forward. Holy guacamole, that was a lot. And give those legs a bit of a shake out. Whew. So we did a forward fold, we did a twist, and then at the end, we put it all together into our revolved triangle. Okay, other side, here we go. Step back with the other foot, locate that ball. We're starting with the ball here. We need to do our twist, hands together. Now you know where we're going a little bit, so you can head yourself there to that closed twist. Closed means I'm coming towards my front leg. Coming back, keeping solid through the middle. Engage that pelvic floor might help a little bit, but also pulling in just a little bit through those abdominals so that we can brace a little bit. We're not twisting down low, we're twisting up high. Coming back to the center, drop that ball, give that strap a try. Maybe you'll like the strap or the ball better on this side. We'll see. Arms to shoulder height, trying to actively pull that strap apart. Front hip back, back hip forward. We'll switch to that closed twist. Might look a little bigger. But quite frankly, it doesn't matter how it looks. How does it feel? And then coming back to center. Going into that open twist. Really cognizant of what's going on in your foundation. Do you feel stable? And all the way back to the center. Your choice, third time through. Is it the strap? Is it the ball? Whichever, or maybe none of them. You decide. Go one more time through, actively going into that closed twist towards the opposite leg, or that front leg, I should say. Come back into the center. And then all the way up and open. Press down through those toes. Lift up through the pelvis, strong through that torso. Coming back to center. Drop any toys that you've been playing with. We're going for our revolved triangle. So remember, it's going to be a forward fold here. As we forward fold, we almost like feel that thread the needle action to bring opposite hands. This is my left hand is coming to my right thigh. Alrighty, here we go. Hinging forward, twisting into it, bringing that opposite hand to opposite thigh. Hand can stay on that hip as you spiral the torso open towards the wall. Go ahead and spiral, spiral. Hand can come up if you'd like. It can stay down too. So holding it there. Beautiful job, everybody. One more full cycle of breath. And then slowly unwind. Coming back up. Stepping forward. Wowzers, that was amazing. Great job, everybody. A lot of twisting and turning and playing with those arms and our twists. Go ahead and take those legs nice and wide and just rock those hips from side to side. Good. That pyramid position, the pyramid pose legs are ones that we don't always do. So they can be quite challenging from a balance perspective and from a strength perspective. Guess what? We're going to do it one more time, but we're going to do something slightly different. So don't groan just yet. We'll step forward. I'll give you my profile. I'm going to step forward here with my right foot back into that pyramid. We're going to play here. So hands can come onto those hips. No need for props, no strap, no ball, nothing. We're going to bend through that front knee and then see if we can kick up our back leg. Bend through that front knee and kick back. If you feel good about this, let that leg float up and hold. Bending that front knee and slowly straightening it. This is our warrior 3. But go ahead and go back and forth and just play with it. So it is pyramid. However, we're taking ourselves into that warrior 3. You might want to isolate that. Arms could come out to the side. Arms could come up overhead. Whatever feels good. Awesome. And then step that foot forward and we'll come to the other side. So drop that leg back, pyramid legs, bending through that front knee and allowing that back leg just to kick up. First step. Make it a bit more dynamic, a bit more movement through those hips than we've been doing. And then if you feel good getting into that warrior 3, straightening that leg out back behind you, trying to square those hips to the floor, takes a bit of balance. And coming into that static warrior 3. Fantastic. Dropping that foot down, go ahead and step those 2 feet back together, coming all the way up to the top of your mat. Take a deep breath in, reach up to the sky. And as you exhale, let's fold it forward, releasing into that forward fold. Just releasing almost to a ragdoll type position. Just let those arms hang. You might want to grab opposite elbows if it feels good for you. Good. Now generously bend those knees, plant those hands down, and we will come down onto hands and knees for a moment, and then down onto your belly. So come on down, get down on that belly for just a moment. We'll let our forehead come down to the mat. Bring your arms up above your head. And just find your pubic bone. So press down into your pubic bone and feel the heaviness of your pelvis. We'll tent up our fingers, so lift the palms of your hands, but fingertips press into the floor. Tops of the feet press equally down as well. And slowly bring that forehead, nose, and chin up. So a little bit of a back bend here, lifting up with those arms above the head. Good, and then slowly come back down. Take those arms now and walk them out to the side like they're in a T shape. Again, press through the the pubic bone into those fingertips, into the tops of the feet. Peel that forehead, nose, and chin up, lifting up a bit of a back bend, sort of a combination of a bit of a cobra-like, but with our arms quite out to the side. Good. And bring that forehead to kiss the floor. Bring those fingertips all the way down to the bottom now, facing towards your feet. Peeling that forehead, nose, and chin. Still on those fingertips if you can. Lifting up. Trying not to get any crinkles in the back of your neck. Think of a nice long neck. As you lift up, open that chest forward to the short end of your mat. And breathe. Beautiful. Come all the way back down. Go ahead and press yourself up for just a moment. We're going to bring our legs out to the side and come all the way down onto our back. As you get there, bring those knees into the chest just to release those back bends we just did. It might feel good to rock from side to side for a moment. And if you can locate your strap, hopefully it's relatively close by, grab a hold of it, and we will take it on to the bottom of both of our feet. Take the knees now into those armpits, widen those legs super far apart. Bend those knees and try to bring those knees into the armpits as you actively try to pull that strap down towards the ground. So really wide, sort of happy baby position with the support of the strap. So pull, get those elbows bent, and see if you can bring the tops of your arms and your elbows to the floor. So that strap is helping you get the legs there, but also let the arms come down. Soften through those shoulders. Good, and if it feels good, just do a little rock from side to side. Rocking, rocking. Good, and then slowly straighten those legs. See if you can have the strap on the bottom of those feet still with legs straight. And then just allow your feet to press into the strap as you hold that strap. It's almost like a legs against the wall with no wall. We just have the strap here to support us. So really think about those arms coming down and being soft. Hands are still holding onto that strap, but those legs are weighted and they're pressing against that strap. No need for a wall when we have a strap. Good. Really helpful with circulation here, allowing those legs to be above the heart, letting that blood come all the way back to the heart. Slight bend in the knees if you need to. Don't force it. Again, we're looking for ease in the body. And if we force it into any sort of tension or pain, we're not allowed to give ourselves some opportunity to be at ease. This is a love or hate exercise too sometimes. So listen to your body. What does it need? And then slowly release that strap. Bring those knees in for a final hug. If there's anything else that you need to do for your body before you finish your practice, go ahead and do it now. We'll take a moment to get yourself settled for our final pose, our corpse pose, or Shavasana. You can release your body to the floor. If you need to keep those knees bent, try to see if you can knock the knees together, just trying to get a little bit of space in the low back, or completely extend those legs all the way out, arms away from the body, coming into a final position. This may be an opportunity to connect back with the sense of touch. What parts of your body are touching the mat? How is your breath flowing in and out? Take this opportunity to allow all the parts of your body that are touching the floor to completely relax. Quietly bring your awareness back to the space that you're practicing in. Back to the sense of touch. And feel a little bit of movement in your toes and your fingertips. Might feel good to move the head from side to side. And it might even feel good to bring your hands above your head and a nice long body stretch. Take one more breath here in this lying position, and then come on over to one of the sides of your body, cradling the head with your arm. Take 3 nice releasing breaths here. And as you're ready, you can come up to a seated position. No rush though, take your time. As you're ready, you can bring your hands to your heart center, resting those thumbs on the breastbone, connecting back to your breath here this morning, the sense of touch. A gentle bow to your heart and gratitude to yourself. The light in me sees the light in all of you. Namaste.